Welcome to the Real Money Pathway, where I share my journey from financial collapse to lasting wealth. I'm David Kim, and I'll guide you through practical strategies that transform my finances and can transform yours too. Let's build your pathway to financial freedom.
The content of this podcast is provided for general information purposes only and do not constitute financial advice. Listeners should not act upon the content or information here without first seeking appropriate advice from a financial professional.
Welcome back to Real Money Pathway. I'm David Kim, and today we're exploring something that completely surprised me during my recovery: the extensive safety net of resources and support systems that exist for people going through financial challenges. Resources I had no idea existed until I desperately needed them. I want to start with a discovery that literally saved me hundreds of dollars per month during my early recovery. About a year after my bankruptcy, I was struggling with healthcare costs. Even with basic insurance, my monthly premiums and medical expenses were eating up nearly 20% of my limited income. During a routine visit to the VA for a completely unrelated matter, a social worker asked about my current employment situation. When I mentioned I was consulting and rebuilding after bankruptcy, she said something that shocked me. You're probably eligible for VA disability benefits that could significantly reduce your healthcare costs and provide monthly compensation. I had served 7 years in the Marines, but I had never considered that some of the physical issues I had developed during service might qualify for disability benefits. Within 6 months of applying, I was receiving monthly disability compensation and had access to comprehensive VA healthcare that dramatically reduced my medical expenses. That discovery made me realize how many support systems exist that people simply don't know about. Today, I want to share the complete ecosystem of assistance that I discovered during my recovery. From government programs you've never heard of to community resources hiding in plain sight, and industry-specific support that might be available in your field. Because the truth is, there's probably help available that you don't even know exists. Understanding the complete support ecosystem. The safety net in America is much more extensive than most people realize, but it's also fragmented and often difficult to navigate. During my recovery, I discovered that support exists at federal, state, local, and community levels. But you have to know where to look and how to ask. Most people know about unemployment benefits, food assistance, and Medicaid, but there are dozens of federal programs designed for specific circumstances that many people never discover. The Department of Energy, for example, offers the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, LEHAP, that helps with utility bills, weatherization, and energy-related home repairs. During one particularly difficult winter, this program covered my heating bills for 3 months, saving me nearly $400. The Treasury Department operates the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, VITA, program that provides free tax preparation for low to moderate income individuals. This saved me several $100s annually during my recovery when professional tax preparation would have been a significant expense. Veteran-specific resources. My military service opened doors to resources I had never explored during my successful corporate years. The VA system is vast and includes benefits far beyond healthcare. Vocational rehabilitation and employment, VR&E. This program can pay for job training, education, or starting a business if you have a service-connected disability. While I didn't use this program, I met other veterans who had entire career transitions funded through VR&E VA home loans. These provide access to home ownership with no down payment and no private mortgage insurance, which was crucial when I was ready to buy property again after bankruptcy. State veterans benefits. Many states offer additional benefits for veterans beyond federal programs. Tennessee, where I relocated, offered property tax exemptions and additional educational benefits that provided ongoing financial support. Professional and industry-specific support. Many professions have assistance programs that members never discover until they're needed. Bar associations often have financial assistance programs for attorneys experiencing hardship. Medical associations provide support for physicians in financial distress. Technology professional organizations offer emergency assistance funds. My local Project Management Institute chapter had an emergency assistance fund that helped members experiencing temporary financial difficulties. I didn't need to use it, but knowing it existed provided additional peace of mind during my recovery. Educational institution resources. If you've attended college or university, you often have access to ongoing support through alumni services, career counseling, networking events, and sometimes even emergency financial assistance can be available to alumni, regardless of when they graduated. My alma mater's alumni association provided free career counseling services that helped me develop my consulting business strategy. They also had a network of alumni willing to provide informal mentoring in various industries, community and faith based organizations, local churches, synagogues, mosques, and other faith based organizations often provide assistance regardless of your religious affiliation. Food pantries, utility assistance, and emergency financial help are commonly available through these organizations. United Way chapters coordinate extensive local support networks that can help with everything from housing assistance to job placement services. The 211 system, dial 211 from any phone, connects people with local resources and is available nationwide. Professional development and training resources, workforce development programs, often funded by federal and state governments, provide free job training and placement services. These programs can help people transition to new careers or upgrade skills in existing fields. I discovered that my state's workforce development office offered free training programs in emerging technologies that would have cost thousands of dollars if obtained privately. While I didn't use these programs extensively, they were valuable for staying current with industry trends. Utility and essential service assistance. Most utility companies are required to offer assistance programs for customers experiencing financial hardship. These can include payment plans, reduced rates, and emergency assistance programs. Beyond utilities, many internet service providers, phone companies, and other essential service providers have programs for low income customers that can significantly reduce monthly expenses during recovery periods. Healthcare system support. Hospital systems are required to provide charity care and payment assistance programs, but many people don't know how to access these programs. Social workers at hospitals can often help identify and apply for assistance that can dramatically reduce medical bills. Pharmaceutical companies often have patient assistance programs that provide medications at reduced cost or free for qualified individuals. These programs can save hundreds or thousands of dollars annually for people with ongoing medication needs. The qualification reality. One of the biggest barriers to accessing support is the assumption that you don't qualify. Many programs have higher income limits than people expect, and qualification often depends on circumstances rather than just income levels. During my recovery, I qualified for several programs despite having variable consulting income because qualification was based on my financial situation rather than just my earning potential. Many programs consider debt to income ratios, number of dependents, and specific hardships rather than simply gross income. The application process investment. Accessing these resources requires time and effort investment, but the potential returns are significant. I learned to treat resource research and application as a part-time job during early recovery, dedicating several hours weekly to identifying and applying for available assistance. This systematic approach helped me discover resources that provided both immediate financial relief and ongoing support throughout my recovery process. While most people are aware of major programs like unemployment and food assistance, there's an entire layer of government support that operates below the radar but can provide substantial help during financial recovery. Department specific programs. Each federal department operates programs that most people never hear about. The Department of Agriculture, for example, runs more than just SNAP, food stamps. They offer rural development programs, housing assistance, and business development grants that can benefit people in both rural and suburban areas. I discovered the USDA Rural Development Program when I was considering property investment. They offer low interest loans for rural property purchases and home improvements that can be available even to people with credit challenges if they meet geographic and income requirements. State level program variations. Every state operates unique programs beyond federal requirements, and these can be significant resources during recovery. State departments of social services, commerce, and workforce development often have programs that aren't widely publicized. Energy and utility assistance. Beyond LIHEAP, while LIHEAP is the most well known energy assistance program, most states operate additional programs for weatherization, emergency repairs, and energy efficiency improvements. And I discovered a state weatherization program that provided free home energy audits and improvements for income qualified homeowners. Even though I was renting at the time, this knowledge helped me understand what to look for in energy efficient housing that would reduce my utility costs. Educational support and training programs. The Department of Labor operates extensive training and education programs through American Job Centers nationwide. These provide not just job placement services, but also funding for certification programs, apprenticeships, and career transition support. I use their career assessment services to evaluate my consulting business strategy and identify additional skills that would make me more marketable. The services were completely free and provided valuable insights that I would have paid hundreds of dollars to receive from private career counselors. Transportation assistance programs. Many states and localities operate transportation assistance programs that go beyond public transit. These can include vouchers for vehicle repairs, assistance with car insurance costs, and even low interest loans for vehicle purchases. Healthcare support. Beyond Medicaid, state and local health departments often operate clinics and programs that provide healthcare services, regardless of insurance status. Mental health services, preventive care, and specialty clinics can be available at reduced cost or free. Community health centers, federally qualified health centers, FQHCS, and free clinics provide comprehensive healthcare services on sliding fee scales based on income and family size. During my recovery, I used these services for routine care, saving hundreds of dollars annually. Legal aid and court support. Legal aid organizations provide free legal services for civil matters, including bankruptcy, debt collection defense, landlord tenant issues, and family law matters. These organizations often have income limits higher than people expect. I didn't need extensive legal services during my recovery, but I did use a legal aid clinic for consultation about debt collection issues. The advice I received saved me from making mistakes that could have complicated my financial recovery. Tax preparation and financial counseling. Beyond Vita tax preparation, many government funded organizations provide comprehensive financial counseling services. HUD approved housing counseling agencies offer not just housing counseling, but also debt management, budgeting, and credit rebuilding guidance. I worked with a HUD approved counselor during my path back to homeownership. The counseling was required for some loan programs, but the budgeting and financial planning assistance was valuable beyond just the housing aspects. Business development and entrepreneurship support, small business administration SBA programs extend far beyond loans. SCORE Mentorship provides free business counseling from retired executives. Small Business Development Centers SBDCS offer free consulting and training for business development. Women's business centers, veterans business outreach centers, and minority business development centers provide specialized support for specific populations. Even if you don't fit the primary demographic, many of these centers offer resources and training that can benefit anyone developing a business. Emergency and disaster assistance, FEMA and state emergency management agencies provide assistance that goes beyond major disasters. Local flooding, severe storms, and other events that might not make national news can still trigger assistance programs for affected individuals. I learned about these programs when minor flooding in my area damaged some property. While I wasn't significantly affected, neighbors received assistance for temporary housing, property repairs, and replacement of essential items. Children and family support programs. If you have children, extensive support programs exist through state children and family services departments. These include child care assistance, after school programs, summer food programs, and educational support that can significantly reduce family expenses. Head Start programs provide early childhood education and family support services. Even if your children are older, many programs offer services to entire families, including financial literacy education and employment assistance for parents. Application strategies for success. Successful navigation of government programs requires understanding their bureaucratic nature and preparing accordingly. Documentation. Preparation. Most programs require extensive documentation. Preparing a comprehensive file with tax returns, bank statements, identification documents, and proof of expenses before applying streamlines the process. Persistence and follow up. Government programs often involve long processing times and multiple steps. Consistent follow up and documentation of all communications improves success rates. Multiple program coordination. Many programs can be used simultaneously, and caseworkers can often help identify additional resources for which you might qualify. Timing considerations. Some programs have specific application periods or funding cycles. Understanding timing can mean the difference between receiving assistance and waiting months for the next opportunity. The key insight is that government support extends far beyond the programs most people know about. Systematic research and application can uncover resources that provide both immediate assistance and long term support for financial recovery and stability. After discovering the vast array of available resources, I realized I needed a systematic approach to identify, apply for, and coordinate different support systems. This wasn't just about finding help, it was about creating a comprehensive support strategy that maximized benefits while avoiding conflicts between programs. The resource discovery process. I developed what I call a resource mapping approach that systematically identified available support across different categories and levels of government and community organizations. Geographic mapping. I researched resources at city, county, state, and federal levels for my specific location. Resources vary dramatically by geography, and moving from one county to another can change your available options significantly. Demographic mapping. I identified resources specific to my demographic characteristics: veteran status, parent status, age, education level, and professional background. Many programs target specific populations with enhanced benefits. Need based mapping. I categorize resources by the type of assistance offered: housing, healthcare, utilities, food, transportation, legal, education, and employment. This helped me identify gaps and overlaps in available support. Income-based mapping. I researched income limits and qualification criteria for different programs, discovering that many had higher thresholds than I initially expected. Application timing and coordination. Managing multiple assistance programs requires careful timing and coordination to avoid conflicts and maximize benefits. Funding cycle awareness. Many programs operate on fiscal year cycles, with funding availability varying throughout the year. Understanding these cycles helped me time applications for maximum success. Program interaction rules. Some programs affect eligibility for others, while others can be combined effectively. I learned to understand these interactions before applying to avoid disqualification or benefit reduction. Renewal and maintenance requirements. Most programs require ongoing eligibility verification and renewal processes. I created a calendar system to track all renewal dates and required documentation. Documentation and record keeping. Effective resource utilization requires meticulous documentation and record keeping that goes beyond normal financial records. Application tracking. I maintained records of every application submitted, including dates, required documentation, contact information, and follow-up requirements. Benefit tracking. I documented all benefits received, their duration, and any requirements for continued eligibility. This helped me plan for when temporary assistance would end. Communication logs. I kept detailed records of all communication with program administrators, including names, dates, and outcomes of conversations. Document organization. I maintained organized files of all required documentation with multiple copies and both physical and digital storage for important documents. Building relationships with caseworkers and administrators. Successful navigation of support systems often depends on building positive relationships with the people who administer programs. Professional communication. I learned to communicate professionally and respectfully with all program administrators, understanding that they were often overworked and dealing with difficult situations regularly. Proactive follow-up. Rather than waiting for problems to arise, I maintained regular communication about my status and any changes in circumstances that might affect eligibility. Appreciation and feedback. I made sure to express appreciation for assistance received and provided feedback about program effectiveness when requested. Resource sharing. I shared information about other useful resources with caseworkers, which helped build relationships and sometimes led to additional referrals. Transition planning from support to independence. The most successful support utilization includes planning for transitioning away from assistance programs as your financial situation improves. Income monitoring. I tracked my income progression relative to program eligibility limits, preparing for transitions before they became mandatory. Gradual reduction. When possible, I reduced reliance on assistance programs gradually rather than abruptly, maintaining stability during transitions. Bridge planning. I identified resources that could provide temporary support during transitions between programs or from assistance to full independence. Skill and resource retention. I maintained relationships and knowledge gained through assistance programs, even after no longer needing direct support, as these could be valuable for future needs or helping others. Creating a support network beyond programs. Formal assistance programs were most effective when combined with informal support networks of family, friends, and community connections. Community integration. I participated in community organizations and volunteer activities that provided social connections and mutual support opportunities. Professional network maintenance. I maintained professional relationships that could provide career support, mentorship, and business development opportunities. Peer support groups. I connected with others going through similar financial recovery processes, sharing resources and strategies while providing mutual encouragement. Service and giving back. As my situation improved, I began volunteering with organizations that had helped me, creating ongoing connections and opportunities to assist others facing similar challenges. Long-term resource awareness. Even after achieving financial stability, I maintained awareness of available resources for several reasons. Economic uncertainty. Understanding available support provided confidence to take appropriate risks in business and investment decisions. Community service. Knowledge of resources allowed me to help others facing financial difficulties by providing referrals and guidance. Professional development. Some resources continue to provide value for ongoing education, networking, and business development, even after financial recovery. Emergency preparedness. Maintaining resource knowledge ensured I could quickly access help if unexpected circumstances arose in the future. The key insight is that creating a comprehensive support plan requires systematic research, careful coordination, and ongoing relationship management. The goal isn't just to access immediate assistance, but to build a support network that strengthens your overall financial recovery and long-term stability. Let's make this immediately actionable. The safety net of available resources is extensive, but it requires systematic discovery and strategic application to access effectively. Today, I'm sharing my resource discovery guide, the same systematic approach I used to identify and access support during my recovery. You can find the detailed version on realmoneypathway.com and thereallmoneyguide.com. Your comprehensive resource discovery plan includes a personal profile assessment. What demographic categories apply to you? Veteran, parent, senior, student, etc. What geographic area do you live in? City, county, state, rural, urban designation. What are your current income levels and family size for program qualification? What specific needs do you have? Housing, healthcare, utilities, food, transportation, legal, employment. Federal resource research. Visit benefits.gov to screen for federal programs you might qualify for. Research veteran-specific benefits through va.gov if applicable. Explore department-specific programs, agriculture, energy, labor, HUD, etc. Investigate tax preparation assistance and financial counseling programs. State and local resource mapping. Contact your state's social services department for available programs. Research workforce development and job training opportunities in your area. Explore utility assistance programs through your service providers. Identify legal aid organizations and community health centers nearby. Community and nonprofit resources. Call 211 for comprehensive local resource information. Research United Way programs in your area. Explore faith-based assistance programs, regardless of religious affiliation. Investigate professional association support programs in your field. This week's assignment: complete a comprehensive resource screening using at least 2 of these sources: benefits.gov for federal programs, your state's social services website for state programs, and 211 for local resources. Create a list of at least 5 programs you might qualify for and prioritize them based on your immediate needs. Remember, accessing available resources isn't about becoming dependent on assistance. It's about leveraging existing support systems to accelerate your financial recovery and create stability while you rebuild. Today, we explored the extensive safety net of resources that exists for people going through financial challenges, from federal programs you've never heard of to community resources hiding in plain sight, and strategies for creating comprehensive support plans that accelerate recovery. The key insight: there's probably more help available than you realize, but accessing it requires systematic research, careful application, and strategic coordination across multiple programs and organizations. In our next episode, Season 2 Recap Protection Case Studies, we're wrapping up our comprehensive exploration of protection and security with real-world examples of how all these protection strategies work together in practice. I'll share detailed case studies showing how different people have successfully implemented protection frameworks, analyze what made their approaches effective, and provide a comprehensive implementation guide for building your own protection system using all the concepts we've covered throughout Season 2. As you work on discovering and accessing available resources this week, remember that seeking help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a strategic approach to accelerating your financial recovery using all available tools and support systems. I'd love to hear about resources you've discovered in your area or assistance programs that have supported your financial journey. Visit realmoneypathway.com and share what you found. Your discoveries might help other listeners identify similar resources in their communities. Until next time, I'm David Kim. Remember, it's not just about money, it's about building your real money pathway to freedom. Thanks for joining me on the Real Money Pathway podcast. I'm David Kim, reminding you that financial success isn't about perfection, it's about progress. So subscribe now for more strategies, and remember, your journey to lasting wealth starts with the very next decision you make.